Those who say that Bitcoin is a threat to the dollar have the story exactly backwards. I believe it is exactly backwards. Bitcoin is not threatening the dollar. The behavior of the current U.S. government is really threatening the dollar.
As you know, Bitcoin is now mainstream.
We said it was coming.
Listen, recently, very recently, the Bitcoin conference was hosted in Nashville, Tennessee. Have you been to Tennessee before?
Yes.
Incredible place, very conservative area.
Yes.
Cheaper than Florida, is what I'm assuming. Even though the tickets were not cheapest, I would say. However, this was a very monumental point in the history of Bitcoin.
I'm laying out my plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world, and we'll get it done.
I think at this point in time, we can forever say Bitcoin is mainstream. As you saw there, Trump visited the Bitcoin conference, and in his own words, America is going to be the what now?
Bitcoin capital
The
of the
Bitcoin
world.
capital of the world. The Bitcoin capital of the world. Sounds so good. And he definitely said some very interesting things that we would like to touch on. Things that we have spoken about on this show previously. I'm not giving this man any credit because we have been saying this thing before now. We have said it before.
Before Trump said it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, I think it is beautiful. But here's why I give him credit. I'll give him credit for taking Bitcoin to that point that made it mainstream. I mean, this is one of the most famous, if not the most famous man on earth.
I was expecting those candles to fly, but nothing flew though. We had the Doji candle.
Well, you know, listen, the banks are still doing what they do. We cannot ignore that part. At the same time, Germany just came from selling their Bitcoins.
At what, 56K?
Yeah, those idiots, whoever was hitting the sell button on that one. So, look, I think that the price is going to move because at this point in time, this thing is going to be going viral unless the social media platforms decide to team up to start suppressing it. And more people are going to start looking into Bitcoin.
Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Minted and made in the USA, it's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon. I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen. No, you're going to be very happy with me.
Listen, man, the guy cannot resist praising himself.
You're gonna be so happy with. Come on, man. Bitcoin is going up without you or not.
Yeah,
that's what happened when they said that.
But you know, one thing that he also mentioned here, which is also something that we have been talking about on the show, because a lot of times when you talk to people, and the reason we're about to, I'm pointing this out here, is that Bitcoin is not a threat to the US dollar. Liking Bitcoin does not make you anti-American. We have mentioned it on the show multiple times that it will make sense for the US to be fully engaged with Bitcoin, and for everything that has happened this past few years to have not happened, right? And in this clip here, we will see Trump confirming.
Those who say that Bitcoin is a threat to the dollar have the story exactly backwards. I believe it is exactly backwards. Bitcoin is not threatening the dollar. The behavior of the current U.S. government is really threatening the dollar.
So many videos ago, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, we did a video called Bitcoin is American as fuck.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah. And we also did another video saying, oh, you're over there sitting down waiting for some politician to approve Bitcoin before you jump on it.
Yeah.
Bitcoin was probably at 20-something, still on its way down to 16, 15K at the time.
Yeah, I believe we're going down.
But we still kept talking. Nobody was watching the videos. Yeah, I might want to go back and watch those videos now.
You know, I don't want to say people were not watching the videos. We're being suppressed by YouTube.
True that.
We're encountering heavy censorship. But you know what? The truth will always rise to the top. We have seen El Salvador make Bitcoin legal tender, and it has been going just fine for them. It has not crashed their economy. Bitcoin as well, you can see that it's something that is a global asset. It provides that financial inclusion to the entire globe. So by the US really legitimizing it, not that the thing is not legitimate, but they have to play, legitimator. By them engaging in it, it really just opens the floor for everyone to be able to participate in a true how would you say, a true form of value, right? A true true hard money. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say a reserve currency, but it is something that is there that can definitely rival the reserve currency of the world, just like gold was at some point. And I believe in this conference as well, he said that he believes this is going to surpass the market cap of gold at some point, right?
Yeah, this brings me back to one of those videos we did a while back, where they were in the war room. Gary Gensler was in the war room, the Secretary of State, the past Secretary of State, the US Treasury were in the room. And I think one of them mentioned that they were weaponizing the US dollar, which was going to impact the dollar at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And one was like, no, this is what we needed to do. And Trump is right in this point that, weaponizing the dollar is what's killing the dollar.
This is true.
So pegging the dollar to an actual asset that is not just gold, but is digital gold, much stronger than gold, actually further strengthens the dollar.
The dollar.
So the ideology of Bitcoin replacing gold is possible, and the ideology of Bitcoin becoming a reserve currency or part of the reserve currency is also possible.
Absolutely. I mean, gold as a reserve currency is just about having something that backs, evidence of the work, right? You can put it that way. Except that in this case, no one needs to carry their gold to go give it to someone else to store it. You can store it in your brain. And as long as people work and are able to take whatever currency that they have, right? Say if you could have Japanese yuan, you could have Ethiopian birr, you could have naira, you could have whatever. A true reserve currency, global reserve currency, just says that you can take that value and you can put it in Bitcoin, so that no one person can take it away from you, devalue it, right? And if you're going to do business in a country and you're exchanging currencies with them, you can also verify that, hey, if I'm interacting with this person, I know that they have these reserves, right? That makes them a credible person. It's the same thing as, I sort of see it like collateral, right? When you go to, say, borrow something.
IOUs, it's like a digital IOU.
Exactly, right? So you go to borrow money and maybe you use your house as collateral and things like that. It's a reserve currency.
And it's verified.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Right.
And nobody can inflate it away by printing a bunch of it. Kind of like what we do with the USD right now.
Exactly. So the other thing when it comes to this weaponizing of the dollar as well, just one other thing there. I think sanctions, right? Being able to, when the US decides that they're going to sanction one nation for taking whatever action that they have chosen to take because it's not in line with what they do, that is weaponization of the dollar. And that is, in fact, what has really driven the dollar to where it is today, especially after the conflict in Ukraine, where the US decided to sanction Russia the way they did. Other countries started looking at this and going, well, if we do something that is not in alignment with what these people want, I guess they will start sanctioning us as well. This is why you will see that almost every African nation has actually been recalling their gold from the US. Whether the US will give back their gold is a different story, but they have made it clear that they want their gold back because they do not want one country telling them what they can or cannot do. Speaking of what people can or cannot do, okay, let's take a look here.
It should be no surprise that these same totalitarians are hell-bent on crushing crypto and obliterating, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they are stated. They're there right now. You have the SEC, you know what they're doing, obliterating Bitcoin. The reason could not be more clear because Bitcoin stands for freedom, sovereignty, and independence from government, coercion, and control.
It's very interesting what he said there in the beginning about these authoritarians, the SEC, destroying Bitcoin. We have seen regulation by enforcement over the past few years.
Yeah, they destroyed the price action. They did not remove the sovereign and the ability for us to still share and own Bitcoin, even though they tried. They did block our way to buy and sell crypto, with all the banks preventing you from doing that, destroying all the exchanges. Oh my God. This is why I see, and now I understand why Bitcoiners are Bitcoiners. Man, I've lost so much money with crypto and moving money between exchanges and trying to buy coins between exchanges. Well, thanks to the SEC, they destroyed so many of the businesses in the crypto space.
Yes.
Wallets destroyed, exchanges destroyed. It was just mad.
Yeah.
I mean, the simple keep an eye on FTX they could not do.
Yeah.
They destroyed the entire market because of that. I mean, they should have seen that.
They really should have.
But hopefully, people say that Trump has promised this, actually promised this in 2019, etc., etc., when he became president. But think about it though. Bitcoin actually did go up 3,000 or something percent when Trump was president. So Trump didn't really attack the crypto or Bitcoin space during that time.
Yeah, I mean, I do not remember Trump trying to sign. I know that at some point he said anti-crypto stuff, and that is something that a lot of the maxis are kind of holding against him.
Yeah,
but you know, maxis are maxis, and they live in a world of their own. And personally, I'm not aiming to be on an extreme of anything. At the same time, you have to grant people grace. Things change. I understand that politicians also lie, but if for the sake of adoption, right, I think you have to grant people like Trump grace in this situation.
I will add though that Trump looked like he was reading off of the teleprompter.
Yeah, he was
on
teleprompter.
that.
He's a teleprompter.
But when you see RFK giving his presentation, that guy is running off of his brain, man.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, RFK has been in the Bitcoin space for much longer. He's been, and at the same time, people understand Bitcoin at different paces. So we really cannot expect. Personally, I'm not reading into that too much. For some people, it takes a personal life experience for them to get a light bulb moment. For other people, they're just trying to gather as much information as possible, and then eventually they get it.
Has some structure in the way they present it.
Exactly. I think that, you know, if RFK is more knowledgeable on Bitcoin, it is not really doing anyone any favors if he's not famous. What we need is adoption.
Yeah.
We need as many people as possible to hear about Bitcoin.
Talking of that,
yeah,
Trump did say that it was going to put together a financial committee for Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah.
When he becomes president. So
see, there we go.
That's going to be major.
It's a step in the direction of adoption, and I think that you know, obviously Maxis kind of want this Bitcoin adoption thing to happen their way, but I think it's good to always remember that Bitcoin was not made for the Maxis. It was made for everyone, and there is nowhere on the white paper that says people have to adopt Bitcoin according to the way that the Maxis prescribe it. People can read the same white paper and they'll interpret it their own way, but Bitcoin still functions in the same way. So I think they need to put their ego down. What we need is for more and more people to hear about Bitcoin, and then they can slowly, continuously dive into it. I mean, look at Gary Gensler, which Trump says he's going to fire on day one. That guy is very knowledgeable on Bitcoin. He was teaching a course in MIT on blockchain, right? But look at the side of the lane of the aisle that he's on.
Which goes back to one of the things that was mentioned during this seminar.
Yeah,
was that Bitcoin is not good or bad. It's not Republican or Democrat.
Yes,
you could take Bitcoin and do evil things with it.
Exactly,
if you want.
Exactly.
Right.
So there we go. Well, what else was said?
Weaponization ends against your industry, and as long as I'm in the Oval Office, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm an Indian. She said, I'm an Indian. Why are you an Indian? You don't look like an Indian. No, no, my mother told me I have high cheekbones. Oh, that's why she was an Indian. So I named her Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren and her goons, and she's very nasty to you. She hates your people. She hates everything about you. Will keep their hands off.
Just listen to what this man said. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. She said she was Indian because her mother said she had high cheekbones.
Yeah, mom's Indian too, because I got high cheekbones.
Do you think he's reading that from a teleprompter? Do you think she really said that?
No. Actually, I listened to the entire speech, and I really don't think that Trump has this style of reading the teleprompter. Like, you have to learn this skill set, right?
Yeah.
So you have what you got to talk about, and then I put some dash,
Yeah.
and that is for him to just freestyle. So when he freestyle, man, anything can come out of his mouth. That's not on the teleprompter.
I sit there and wonder, I'm like,
Yo, you be mumbling all over the place, saying a bunch of crazy stuff.
I'm like, is Pocahontas going through that screen right now? That's crazy.
But for real though, Pocahontas will need to be gone. She needs to lose a seat instead.
That woman is a devil spawn.
Yep.
All right, let's play on.
We're gonna let it grow. We're gonna let it grow. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman. I didn't know he was that unpopular.
Your thoughts, sir?
Jerome Powell, Gary Gensler.
Yeah, he needs to be fired too.
Yeah, I better start looking for a new job. Start putting in your applications.
I hear McDonald's is hiring.
Actually, maybe it's Zappos Bank. I don't know who the hell Zappos Bank is.
Zappo Bank.
Somebody's going to be holding your Bitcoin. They might hire one of them to come and be their treasurer.
Do they want to lose their company?
Sure. You know, they basically
recycle.
It's just recycle. They'll eventually get some government job.
They can get a government job. I don't think it's going to be in the financial sector because
this guy's destroying many people's wealth.
These people, their image has been tarnished. They are the devils of the Bitcoin space. I don't think anywhere they go is going to be prosperous for them. Any bank that hires Gary Gensler, okay, is going to receive backlash. Listen, I know Marxists don't want to look at themselves as woke people, but they're definitely in the cancel culture as well. Okay. This is why they retaliate when someone that does not agree with their Bitcoin stance does something. I mean, look at how they came out for Sam Bankman-Fried.
I mean, they're talking about moving him up to your treasury, chairman of the treasury.
Who, Gary Gensler?
It's done there. It's done their bidding for them. So it's time for them to, if what's the name wins.
Listen, Trump is coming to fire them. Okay. You better start freshening up your resumes. You can use GPT. I think this is important. You know, Gary Gensler is someone that over the past years, just like you were mentioning, has caused a lot of damage to this environment. I get it. Shitcoiners are shitcoiners, but at the same time, you know, they were not necessarily doing any favors for the general public because the SEC's job is to protect the consumer. Okay, but we've seen that in many, many cases, the SEC has actually, well, constantly, the SEC seems to be engaged in activities that are actually hurting the consumer.
SVB Bank, Silicon Valley Bank.
The list goes on and on.
Heritage Bank.
Right. I'm not even an XRP fan, but how can XRP be in court for almost a decade? You know, things like that. They're either a scam or they're not.
The Binance situation didn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Now they're reversing everything. I was like, why?
Exactly.
You already took $4 billion?
Because it's mafia activity. There is no legitimacy to it. You guys did it because you have the power. It's just that simple. And what does that say about having confidence in this system? You know, can't trust it too much. But you know, these people are followers, not leaders. Okay. Because as you can see, I'm not sure what is happening, but I'm opening pages and where I left the page is not where the page is when I come back. What is happening here? The Republican or the Democrats apparently have sent out some sort of is it a memo to the
Yep.
DNC
Mm-hmm.
requesting that they should change their stance on Bitcoin. These are the same people that have been anti-Bitcoin forever. The Democrats now going, oh well, let's change our tone on Bitcoin.
I mean, if Americans are stupid enough to believe that shit, it's presidential election season, so they will do anything.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think they're listening to the IMF and the World Bank
yeah.
and those other people,
Yeah.
and they've destroyed the value of the dollar. They've pushed on the two wars or the multiple wars on the multiple war fronts that they've been pushing.
Yeah.
And now that they know that they are losing, they're doing everything to catch up. So
You can look at it as what they have been doing to the black community for decades now.
you're not black
Where
enough if you don't vote for me.
you're not black enough, you don't vote for me. They promise black people all kinds of crazy things, and then once they get into office, they just forget about the black people.
You've been on holiday.
Exactly. These people are manipulators, right? So here it is here. And shout out to Bitcoin Magazine, by the way, for the incredible coverage of this.
Yes.
And thank you for letting us use your coverage.
I was thinking though,
Post asking. Yeah.
Bitcoin Magazine and Marathon. I've been thinking of switching my portfolio from Marathon to MicroStrategy. But then I'm like, Marathon, they did a good job, man. But I need to keep my.
Well, they're all not going anywhere if Bitcoin doesn't go. So I'll just buy Bitcoin. It's good. So this is the tweet I was talking about. Breaking Democrats wrote to the DNC asking a shift away from the anti-Bitcoin stance, responding to Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference.
They were at the Bitcoin conference too. Do you know that?
Oh, I mean, of course they have to be there, man. This is why I'm saying that these people are followers, not leaders. If you're a leader, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. You have to step into the path that has not been traveled. Yes, that is what makes you a leader. That's what makes you unique. Okay, what the Democrats are doing is taking commands from some people that none of us see, and then trying to execute on it.
They just did that by making Kamala Harris the leading candidate. Did the Democrats vote for her?
Listen, the Democrats and Biden dropped down because Disney's daughter, people like Disney's daughter go, we're pulling our funding. Those are the people that run these people. Okay.
You did say something 2 years ago.
What's that?
They will bend at the knee.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I should find that video, man.
We'll find that video. Dude, I've tried to watch so many videos to try to find that video, and it's like I just cannot find it. But I had said it before. All of these people will bend at the knee to become. We'll find that video and bring it back. But you can see it now. You can see it materializing, my friends. Okay. Listen, we're not just on this show to talk shit. We know what the hell we're talking about. We have analyzed the situation. You guys can watch our show or not. It does not change the fact that what we're saying here is the truth and nothing but the truth. It does not change the fact that what we are seeing is really influencing what is coming. I'm not necessarily that influencing the future, but I think that for me, is heavily influencing my decisions.
We said it last year, I think, or so, that it was going to be a major presidential campaign topic.
Yeah, absolutely. We did say that as well. Man, listen, the predictions, you know what is interesting? We also predicted this situation in Africa with the African nations aligning with Russia. You remember?
Boom.
That one was such a proud moment for me. So if I'm making these predictions and we are all looking at it and we're going, well, how can we not take action on it? Let me give you guys another one right now. Africa is going to be the future economic power. Mark that one.
We do say that. I don't think that it's going to go to China and then from China back to Africa.
Yeah, I think it's too late. Africa is already picking it up. China had their chance. You know what I mean? It's I think they finagled the ball. Okay. They have a battle to be fighting with the US. You see, once you entangled with the US, it's difficult to detach. Okay. The opportunity that China has to become a financial power is going to be heavily stifled by the fact that the US will be spending so much time trying to block them. And why they're doing this? Because what is China's strategy to circumvent this whatever actions that the US would take to stifle their progress towards becoming this massive economic power, right? Is that they will try to send these things to Africa to be moving.
They're doing that right now.
Exactly. But what is happening then is that they're developing Africa. is becoming a rising power.
The same thing America did to China, like trying to attack Russia and then empowering China, and then China turns against them.
Exactly.
So China will indirectly divest or diversify into Africa,
Sir,
and then
you're tracking, sir. You're tracking. Boom. That is exactly
we
what
gotta save this one now before we forget it, because
yeah. Hey, listen, incredible stuff. The world is changing very fast. I don't have anything else to say to this. This has been incredible. Listen, Bitcoin is mainstream, whether you like it or not, buy it or not. It's only two questions you have to ask yourself. Do you want to find 3 or 4 jobs just to be able to maintain your lifestyle? Or do you want to be rich and be stress-free? Double up.
On this channel, we like to call you guys champions. To be a champion, you gotta like, subscribe, share, leave a comment.
Absolutely. All right.
Champions.
Until next time. Present out.
Double O.